Okay, so I saw this Facebook post the other day that caught my attention, and it was about successful and unsuccessful ways that authors have marketed their books. And one of the authors that commented who shared, I've always considered her to be a huge success. I just love her. I love her work. She has all these books. She has stuff in hardback. She has a great publisher. Like, she's doing awesome. And she shared that she wished that she could have more, like more numbers, more sales. Nothing wrong with that, okay? But it made me stop and think, girlfriend, we all want to be you, okay? All of us want to be you and have your success. And I started thinking, okay, so what is success? Okay, how do we measure that? How do we know when we're a successful author, everybody? Okay, what's the answer? And, I kind of ran through some ideas, and I called some friends and I asked them what their thoughts were. And some of them are author friends and some of them are just reader friends. Like, what to you is a successful author? How do we measure that? Is it when we finally finish writing our first book? Because, guys, that's a big deal. When you finish writing a book, that's awesome. That's amazing, okay? A lot of people only dream about that and they never get that far. Or maybe it's when we sell 1,000,000 copies, right? Or get a big movie deal, or hit the bestseller list, or get a contract with our dream publisher. Oh my goodness, that would be amazing, right? All of that, when we get all these, whatever, maybe the bank account that helps you to work full time as a writer. Maybe that's how we measure success, and those are all worthwhile goals. Nothing wrong with that. The truth is I don't think that there's one right answer. All right. I don't think there's a one size fit all. Once you hit this mark, you're a successful author. Okay. I think that it's going to be very individual. But let me give you something to think about. All right. Maybe success is not measured by the number on the bestseller list and where your place is at. Okay. Maybe as you think about what success is to you, maybe it's an email from a reader that says that they were going through a really hard time in their life and they were grieving, and they read your book and it helped them through that grief. Maybe your story fired the imagination of a child, that they became a lifelong reader because of you. Okay, maybe your book changes the way somebody thinks or feels. Maybe it helped them find the courage to get out of a toxic relationship. Okay, maybe your book inspired somebody else to say, you know what, maybe I should write my own story too. Okay, all of that is great. And none of those things you're ever going to see on the bestseller list. All right, you're not going to see that in your bank account either. But that is very successful. That's huge, you guys. That's huge. So here's another question that's more personal, okay? Do you still enjoy writing, okay? After the long, brutal process of writing a book, the painful edits, the rewrites, the tedious marketing, okay, do you still love writing? Ooh. Okay, that's pretty good too. That's bigger than book sales, if you can say yes to that. So, or maybe your goal, let's talk about some goals here. Is your goal to encourage people? Okay, or to help your reader feel seen and understood, or to get kids off of video games and get them back into books and like cleanse their mind? All right, so all of those are worthwhile goals as well. And don't misunderstand me. Having the financial goals and the number goals, those are great too. Okay. And oftentimes when we have impact on people, we generate the sales as well. Okay. Often those do go hand in hand. Okay. And there's nothing wrong with wanting your books to reach a wider audience. Nothing wrong with that as well. But if we define our success only by the numbers, okay, whether that's the number of followers, whether that's the number of sales, whether that's the number in your bank account, whether that's the number of the books you've written, okay, if we're only defining success by numbers, somebody else is going to have higher numbers than us. All right, there's always going to be somebody with a bigger number. And we can talk about comparing later because, ew, gross. All right, that's a rough thing in itself. So let me ask you one question. When you look back on your writing journey years from now, what do you want people to remember Right there. Hold that thought. Okay, hold that thought right there. All right, I'm going to say it again. When you look back years from now on your writing journey, what do you hope that people are going to remember? That right there. That answer that you have in your head right now, that's the answer. Okay, that is what success looks like. Happy writing, you guys.